So when was the last time that you used an electronic device, specifically one that accesses the internet? Did you think about the implications that that internet access could have? Did you think about who was monitoring you, who was watching you? The NSA now is monitoring all of our phone calls, is monitoring all of our internet texts, IMs, and any sort of access that we use. Now, George Orwell actually illustrated this shift. He talked about, in his book, 1984, that if you want to keep a secret, you must also hide it from yourself. In that, now we can see today that we've grown to a generation where we cannot even keep a secret in ourselves. We have to bury it deeper than ourselves. So the NSA, they're collecting all sorts of data. And I'll go into actually how they collect it a little bit later. But we see that 56% of Americans generally agree with the data collection that's going on today, even though that 3 out of 4 Americans agree that it does violate our privacy rights. So let's look at this a little bit more stratified out. We see post 9/11, around 2006 is the earliest survey that they did. You can see that over 50% of people believe that the NSA is not going far enough in its research. 2010, you even see a steeper increase, that over 60% of people believe that the NSA is not going far enough. And then the Snowden files were released in 2013. And these files released all the information to make our government and our people conscious of what's going on. So you see a stark difference in what those graphs look like. Now you see less than 40%, about 30% actually, of people agree that they're going not far enough, and that 60% of people believe that they're going way too far, which is a complete switch in what we see. So here's just a brief overview. There's 2 different types of how the NSA works through its data. There's the upstream, which is just the data connection basis that they cut in at a fiber optic point, and that it splits all the information to them. So you don't know what's going on, but they're just taking the information and nothing's changing. And you can see all of that throughout the United States and then cutting out into the rest of the world. And the PRISM aspect is what was released in the Snowden files. This is the aspect in which there are important people, and important people throughout the world that the government is monitoring. So they might be in this room, I don't know, the government knows that. But they look at your email, Google, Facebook, and they bring in the information. About 400,000 terabytes of information is pulled in per year just about the PRISM people. So we look into all the different types of reports that were filed. 17 were for money laundering, 17 were for immigration, 19 were for fraud, and these are just the ones that were criminal referrals. 0 were for terrorism. So over the past couple years, this is just recent data, 0 were caught because of the PRISM aspect of the government. So now we look at the international aspect of our work at the PRISM. The NSA is working to phone tap leaders around the world. I have 6 different leaders and people's opinions on all of those leaders, if it is acceptable to phone tap these leaders. Now, we see in Iran, 50% of people believe it's totally fine to phone tap. Now, David Cameron, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, only 25% of people believe that it's okay to phone tap. Why is there that stark of a difference? Why do we believe that it's fine domestically to take all of our information, even though we're the good guys, but then when we look internationally, the good guys are the ones we don't think we should be looking into? So this is just a blueprint that came out during the Snowden files of where the information is mostly drawn from. Now, this illustrates that most of the Middle East is where the information is coming from. But look at China, and it's color-coded in that similar colors equal similar amount of data pulls. China and the United States are the exact same color. There is the same amount of information being pulled from China and from the United States. And we did not agree completely with the information being pulled from China. So I don't understand what's going on. We, as a group, do not understand this shift because we're becoming more conscious. And we're becoming more conscious of the implications that could be going on today. Because there could be better advertising, which is an increase in sales profit for companies. They could understand what we want to buy even before we know what we want to buy, because they could have access to all this information. There's something that a new study came out actually, in that you can take a picture of someone, any person on the street, and 33% of the time, 1/3, you can link that picture to a name, and you can link that picture to private information about the person, and then come up with a lot of information, a lot. You can look up pretty much anything, even social security numbers. So I actually did my own research. And I found a lot of information about someone we know. I found home address, phone number, different places of employment, pictures, everything in 20 minutes. 20 minutes, very, very easy. That shows that this is real. This is a real thing. This isn't some made-up thing only the government can do. I can do it because of the information that's available today. So I want to finish out with my friend George Orwell. He said only they become conscious. Until they become conscious, they will never rebel. And until after they have rebelled, they can not become conscious. So, America, what are we going to do? Are we going to sit back and keep hiding our secrets within ourselves? Or are we going to rebel? Thank you.